Hello, my name is Minja Park. My URP topic is the use of official ball increase the fairness of KBO League. This is the title of the report. This is the index. Professional sports largely consist of professional leagues that supply matches as a single product and spectators who demand and consume them. The quality of the products produced by professional sports is judged by the audience who consumes, depending on how much more exciting game has been created. The product that appeals to the crowd is a fascinating match. Also, teams' one-sided dominance in professional sports leagues can be a negative factor for the league's healthy growth. Thus, the uncertificate of outcome related to the competitive balance can play a major role in the league's box office. What the association can do to amplify the uncertainty of these results is to create fair conditions by reducing the variables that can be applied differently to each team. A typical example of reducing variables is the designation of official ball. Before the designation of official ball, it was possible to use a match ball if it belongs to KBO regulation. The autonomous selection of the ball has led to the possibility of manipulation for the teams which misinterpret the true meaning of victory. As a result, for road teams act as losing factor which interfere the fairness of the league. It is necessary to check whether the official ball designated for the purpose of reducing uncertainty has provided fair conditions for all teams. In particular, coefficient of restitution, one of the characteristics of official ball, is believed to have increased fairness within the league because it controls the ball movement directly. To start the report, I will briefly talk about the background that we should know about. Parabolic motion. The most dominant motion in a baseball game is the distance that ball flies. The ball hit by the batter flies up to the sky with a certain angle to the ground and falls to the ground by the force of gravity. This kind of ball exercise is called parabolic motion. The velocity of an object with parabolic motion is divided into vertical and horizontal components. If the angle of the ground and the ball fired is theta, it can be expressed as follows: Vx equals v cosine theta, Vy equals v sine theta minus gt. Through horizontal components, the distance that the ball flew can be obtained, and through vertical components, the duration time of floating ball can be obtained. So using horizontal speed with the time taken, we can calculate the distance that ball have moved. The distance equals v squared to sine theta over g. The coefficient of restitution, which is called a COR. The COR, also denoted by E, is the ratio of the final to initial relative velocity between two objects after they collide. It normally ranges from 0 to 1, where 1 would be a perfectly elastic collision. The value is almost always less than 1 due to initial translation kinetic energy being lost to rotational kinetic energy, plastic deformation, and heat, so as the baseball. For example, if a ball COR with 0.4 hits the wall at a speed of 100 km per hour, the after speed of the ball will be 40 km per hour. Next, slugging average. The slugging average is based on the total base divided by the number of at-bats. Unlike batting average, the average is multiplied by 1, 2, 3, and 4 respectively for single, double, triple, and home runs. That is, the slugging average is the average base hit expected for one's at-bat. This is method how I will progress the research. First, theoretical influence of coefficient of restitution. Second, the effect of COR on attack indicators in KBO League. This too shows the effect of coefficient of restitution on the game. third, before using official balls, and fourth, after using official balls, which also shows changes caused by the use of official balls. After these four steps, it will be available to check that use of official ball increased the fairness of KBO League. First, we need to check out about theoretical influence of the coefficient of restitution. The batter hitting the baseball flies in a parabolic motion. Therefore, the batted ball follows the parabolic equation S equals V squared 2 sine 2 theta over G. To compare the actual values, the speed at which the KBO pitcher's fastball reaches the batter is 112 km per hour, and the batter's bat speed is 112 km per hour, and the launch angle is 30. Now we are going to use COR range that was used in 2015. First, if the calculation is made with the highest coefficient of restitution, the initial velocity is 28.7 meter per second, and the travel distance is 145 meter. When the lowest coefficient of restitution is applied, the initial velocity is 27.5 meter per second, and the distance traveled is 133 meter. If you compare the distance traveled, 12-meter real difference will occur. To put it simply, the team that uses the smallest COR has a small effect as playing in a stadium 12 meters longer than the team that uses the largest COR. The effect of COR on attack indicator in the KBO League. In 2018, KBO League suffered a record ride. There were 34 hitters in the league over .3 batting average, 64 hitters with double-digit home runs, and 5 hitters with more than 40 home runs. The following table shows changes in home runs and slugging average in 2018 and 19. In the case of slugging percentage, all clubs except NC decreases, and the home runs was significantly reduced for all teams, and the average reduction rate was about 40%. This shows how strongly the 12-meter and the difference of COR can totally change the league statistics. Comparing table 2 and 3, we can see that teams with a park factor more than 1,000 use a greater value of COR than the average, while teams with less than 1,000 use a smaller value of COR. This shows that the clubs use baseball COR according to their environment. Next, looking at the change in the COR of each team, Dusan used the lowest COR, 0.4135, and Lotte uses the highest COR, 0.4305. The difference of COR by the two teams is 0.017, which creates a gap of about 12 meters. In fact, Dusan Stadium is 7 meters longer than Lotte Stadium. Actual Dusan players were playing in 19-meter longer stadium than Lotte does. By comparing table 4 and 5, first, every team has an over-winning rate in their home game. Second, observing table 3 at the same time, we can see that the team using a big value of coefficient has a lower number of home runs and slugging average in away game. In short, before the official ball was used, each team set a COR depending on their type of home stadium and players. This is a fact that actual value shows in the table clearly, meaning home and away teams fail to start on the same starting line. After using official ball, from this table we can see that the standard deviation of the winning rate and slugging percentage has been reduced after 2015. The standard deviation, one of the scattered plots, is a typical figure that shows how widely the data are spread around the average. A standard deviation close to zero means that the data values are concentrated near the mean. Thus, a small standard deviation means that the advantage of the league's home games and team-specific slugging have been reduced by the use of official ball, which has led to all teams encompassing similar figures. Thus, it can be seen that fairness within the league has been formed. Conclusion. Until now, by comparing the on-tag indicators and winning rates, shows the internal impact of the baseball COR and the indicators that have changed since using the official ball. The value of COR has truly shown that it could change the batting distance, also the on-tag indicator, meaning the coefficient of restitution can increase the on-tag indicator statistically. Taking advantage of this effect of the COR, when the official ball was not set in the past, teams used the COR optionally to match the characteristics of each team's players or stadium, which gave most of teams a stronger advantage in home game. However, using these out-of-game elements to gain advantage seems to be against the fairness of the league for pure baseball fans. Since 2016, the revised regulations, including designation of official ball, have been made as a fair league, as can be seen through the change records. In the end, it can be concluded that the KBO's league's official ball policy provides equal conditions for all teams and that fairness has been established, which make conditions that can guarantee fierce competition in the KBO league.